ब्रेक के बाद आपका फिर से स्वागत है।
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Let's take a look at the headlines now. Amit Shah and Rahul Gandhi hold poll rallies in Chhattisgarh. BJP chief says his party's win in the state will lay foundation for victory in the 2019 elections. Congress president charges centre with ignoring farmers and vulnerable sections. Well, with 5 of their cities in the world's 100 most polluted list, Rajasthan voters look to the upcoming state elections for solutions. Hope next government will take steps to ensure cleaner air in the state. On two-day visit to the State Election Commission reviews poll preparedness with political parties and officials in the state. 415 nomination forms rejected after scrutiny. And amid the rising election fever in the state, RSTV's correspondent Mohammad Fateh Tipu holds poll discussions or breakfast with voters in Bhopal. And in the big story of the day, opposition decides on seat sharing for their grand alliance in Telangana, but parties fail to subdue the dissent within the ranks. Disappointed Congress ticket seekers protest after the first list. Well, it's time for the big poll story of the day. Well, in Telangana, the opposition parties have cobbled an alliance against the ruling TRS. But even after deciding on the seat sharing, many of the alliance partners are yet to quell dissent within their ranks. The first list of 65 candidates released by the Congress has sparked infighting and protests, with disappointed ticket seekers calling for a shutdown in the state. The TRS is seeing a silver lining in these developments.
In Telangana, ahead of the state election on December 7th, the Mahakutami, or the Grand Alliance of the opposition, is creating a buzz. But caretaker Chief Minister and Telangana Rashtriya Samiti Chief K. Chandrasekhar Rao is looking at a silver lining, confidently predicting that the alliance could well be their ticket to winning no less than 100 of the 119 assembly seats in the state, thanks to the infighting within the opposition ranks.
Congress, there was a good Congress, but it is totally dismantled, dissipated for various reasons. Today it is not more than 9 or 10 in the assembly, so it is no party as such. Telugu Desam has no relevance at all as far as Telangana is concerned. So that is also not a party. See, CPM I can think of as a party because they have one MLA in the assembly. CPI doesn't have. So that is also not there. There is another party by name party. There is one gentleman who was in the movement, Kodanram, and he has gathered his own friends and said it is a party. He has given the name of a political party. Otherwise it is some kind of a agitation, some kind of an NGO that he was running.
Under the seat-sharing talks of the 119 seats, the Congress will contest 93 seats, the TDP 14, the TJS or the Telangana Jan Samiti 8, the CPI will contest 3 seats and the Telangana Inti Party will fight on 1 seat. But for the Congress, disgruntlement was evident within party ranks even as late as on Monday, when disappointed ticket seekers protested at the party office in Hyderabad. State Party Chief Uttam Kumar Reddy reportedly left for Delhi to discuss the crisis. The party is battling similar problems in Warangal as well. The TJS has also expressed its unhappiness over the seat sharing, with party activists on hunger strike demanding tickets. And while the CPI says it won't quit the alliance. It has also made its displeasure public over the Congress offering the party only 3 seats instead of 5 as it had demanded. Reports say the party has been promised seats in the Legislative Council instead.
People have compared the Congress rule with the Chandrasekhar Rao government rule. And the comparison is so clear, stark as a daylight. And the mood is that this government is going and the Congress government is coming. And there is also a good alliance formed with Mr. Chandrababu Naidu's party, the 4-party alliance. So the chances are victory absolutely sure. People are very upbeat, and that shows in the crowd of ticket seekers. And I mean, this is like now or never kind of an opportunity for Congress leaders who've been out of power for 4.5 years. So they are naturally excited. Of course, quelling the rebellion would be a challenge, because when there's overexcitement and a lot of people seek tickets, try to give tickets to the best candidate is not always easy. And everybody thinks that he or she is the best candidate. But it will take them along.
The Congress has said that it is willing to take part in friendly contest against its allies. Late on Monday night, the party released its first list of 65 candidates. It was released after the Central Election Committee met under the party president Rahul Gandhi. Soon after the Congress, the Telugu Desam party released its first list of candidates for 9 seats. The BJP, which had contested the last assembly elections in 2014 jointly with the TDP, is contesting alone this time. The Communist Party of India, Marxist or CPM, the Bahujan Samaj Party, BSP, and about 24 smaller parties have joined hands to form the Bahujan Left Front.
Congress is already there, but the people are not going to believe the Congress Party. Every time Congress Party ditched Telangana people and Telangana leadership. And the TDP, its presence is only in the Hyderabad and periphery only. Remaining parts of Telangana area, there will be resentment against Chandrababu Naidu and TDP. That will help to the BJP, because Chandrababu Naidu is considered to be opponent of Telangana. So how the Congress Party is joining with the Congress Party and TDP is the question in the minds of people of Telangana. And other thing is, till now the Chandrababu Naidu is creating conflict atmosphere between Telangana and Andhra. So that's why people may not welcome Chandrababu Naidu here. CPI, its presence is very negligible. And TJS, they are only workers, they are not spread over.
The TRS distributed 107 of the 119 party tickets on 11th of November. Its party chief is expected to announce the remaining candidates before 22nd November, the last day of withdrawal of candidature. In 2014, the TRS won 63 assembly seats. The Congress had 21. The TDP was victorious in 15 seats, AIMIM 7 and the BJP 5. However, the TRS's strength rose to nearly 90 later because of many defections from various opposition parties. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, and joining me for a chat right now is K.V. Prasad, Associate Editor of The Tribune, and we are also joined by Shravan, of course, who's a senior journalist. Thank you and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. K.V. Prasad, let me begin with you. Of course, you know, a lot is happening in the election season, of course, and we've seen that the Grand Alliance has somehow managed to, you know, sort out the seat-sharing issue, at least. Of course, some people are bound to be upset when you have a Grand Alliance like this. Ticket aspirations might not be met, but at least the seat-sharing seems to have been sorted, at least for the moment.
Well, for the time being, I think the Congress Party has decided there has been though we just read the report of unhappiness, and that's bound to happen because when the alliance partners feel that there is a realistic chance of getting entry into the assembly, there is bound to happen a lot of more pressure on the leaderships particularly. I think that will be sorted out in the days to come. This is very routine things that happen all the time when elections are there and each party trying to assert itself. But by and large, the fact that the Kutumi, Mahakutumi as it is called, has come into being is somewhat brought some challenge into the election, which the TRS was otherwise thinking was a cakewalk. because the very calculation Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao did by calling in for early elections was a big political gamble, which was calculations were that others being in disarray, he would have an easier way. Of course, there is a lot of groundswell of goodwill, one may say, so for all the schemes that he has run in the last 4 years, but nonetheless, there is always issues, especially centered around his family.
Absolutely.
That
We'll talk about the issues probably in just a bit. But before that, Shravan Kumar, you know, as far as the rebellion is concerned, something that K.V. Prasad was mentioning about as well, how much of an impact do you believe the dissidents will have on these elections?
See, if more dissidents means Congress Kutami is having more strength. That is the indication. So it shows people have confidence that if they get seat, there is a possibility of winning this time. So that's why there is a lot of demand for Mahakutami seats. Even for the other parties also, there is a lot of demand. CPI, they are demanding more seats because they have got good confidence. This Kutami is working properly. So that's why these kind of demands are there. They are trying to rectify, they are suit the people, and finally Kutami, I think they have launched properly. The major parties like TDP and Congress. Congress is the main party in the Kutami, and then TDP. These two are the major parties. They are in good terms, and TDP is ready with whatever seats Congress offers them. So later these remaining two parties are nothing in the sense it helps them. It adds the value. So finally, within Congress also, Congress people till the last minute everybody fights, and once election starts, everybody starts working. So that is the what you say beauty of the Congress party. Some people everywhere it is there in even TRS also. TRS also last time TRS party, whoever were elected, they were announced as candidates.
Right.
Whoever came from other parties also announced as candidates. So within TRS also there is a problem.
Sure.
So it is common in
it's a part and parcel of the elections is what the journalists are suggesting in our studio. Yes,
प्रसाद साहब, जो गठबंधन है खुद में जो है पेपर पर बहुत स्ट्रांग दिख रहा है, लेकिन चुनाव में कई बार दिक्कत ये आती है कि जो वोट है वो कितना एक साथ ट्रांसफर हो पाता है। तो जमीन पर क्या चैलेंजेस हैं इस कुटमी के सामने?
देखिए, पिछले मरतबा अगर आप देखें 2014 में चुनाव जब हुए थे, तब तो तेलंगाना की पार्टी नहीं थी। टीआरएस ने एक तरह से एक पूरा प्रचार उनका ये था कि हमने जो वहाँ पे झगड़ा किया, एक तरह से आंदोलन जो खड़ा किया, उसके वजह से अलग राज्य मिला, पृथक राज्य बना और बन के आगे आया। तो उसका एक स्वाभाविक एडवांटेज था और कांग्रेस और तेलुगु देशम के खिलाफ गुस्सा था। हालांकि कांग्रेस ने उम्मीद की थी कि भाई हम चूँकि तेलंगाना बनने में हमने पूरी मदद की, उनका रोल था, तो वो नहीं हो पाया।
और मैं एक डिफर करता हूँ, कांग्रेस के खिलाफ ज़्यादा गुस्सा नहीं थे तेलंगाना में, अदर स्टेट्स में अलग था। जो तेलंगाना में था, तेलंगाना कांग्रेस दिया, कांग्रेस ने डिलीवर किया, इस तरह का एक पॉजिटिवनेस था। जो नेशनल लेवल स्कैम्स वगैरह ये अलग इशू है, बट एज फार एज एंटी कांग्रेस वे वाज नॉट देयर, but people want to give a chance to KCR as a leader. They want to give a chance to KCR because he fought for the state.
नहीं तो फिर इसका मतलब ये है कि क्या सारी जनता ये मानती रहे कि कांग्रेस से ज्यादा रोल केसीआर का था और कांग्रेस का रोल नहीं था, इसीलिए उन्होंने केसीआर को ज्यादा प्रेफरेंस दिया?
ज़्यादा केसीआर का रोल था, उन्होंने वो इंजन था। केसीआर ने जो तेलंगाना मूवमेंट के लिए इंजन था, उन्होंने आगे लेके गया और उसको सारा लोग सपोर्ट किया और कांग्रेस देना पड़ा। इस तरह का एक ओपिनियन पब्लिक में था, इसलिए केसीआर को प्रायोरिटी दिए उस इलेक्शन में।
प्रसाद साहब, जो मैं कह रहा था कि जमीन पर एकजुटता जो है वो कितनी दिखेगी, क्योंकि पिछली बार से इस बार तस्वीर काफी अलग, जैसे आपने कहा कि पिछली बार वो मैदान उसके लिए नहीं थे, एक विरोध था, कांग्रेस के खिलाफ गुस्सा भी था। देखिए,
जमीन में फर्क इतना पड़ता है कि जब चार पार्टियां इकट्ठी हुई तो सबके, एक तो टीडीपी का वोट जो है टीडीपी के साथ रहेगा, वो तेलंगाना के साथ नहीं जा पाएगा कोई भी बात, मतलब काफ़ी हद तक कांग्रेस का अपना एक वोट है। साथ ही साथ जो सीपीआई के कुछ इलाकों में उनकी काफ़ी दबदबा है, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता, पहले के मुकाबले में कम हो सकता है, ये मानता हूँ, जैसे किसी नेता ने भी बोला अभी थोड़ी देर पहले। लेकिन सीपीआई का पुराने सेम से अगर आप अनडिवाइडेड आंध्रा को देखें तो सीपीआई एक अपने में बहुत बड़ी ताकत के रूप में उभरी है उस वहाँ पे। तो वो एक छट के कम रह गया है, लेकिन है। तो वो अंश अभी थोड़े बचे हुए हैं। तो ये सारे जैसे कहते हैं 1-1-2, 1-11 भी हो सकते हैं और 1-1-2 भी हो सकते हैं। सवाल तो ये है। दूसरा ये है कि जो मुद्दे पे आप आएंगे, जब आपको पता लगेगा कि वहाँ की जो स्थानीय समस्याएं हैं, ठीक है काफ़ी कुछ है, लेकिन थोड़ा बहुत रोष भी है, वो रोष को कोई टैप कर पाएगा तो ये अपोजिशन पार्टी कर पाएंगे।
Absolutely. You know, before we continue to talk about Telangana, let's take a look at how the assembly figures stood before the dissolution of the House. Here's it on our screens at the moment. There you can see, of course, TRS 90-13 to the Indian National Congress, 16 to the others, a total of 119. You know, Shravan, all this is most likely to change, isn't it, in the upcoming elections? Because
these facts are not correct. Because TRS won only 60 plus seats. Later, everybody joined here, and because the TRS was in power and the anti-defection law was not implemented properly, they rose to 90 seats. Even CPI member was also joined in TRS, and he was not disqualified. If all these people would have disqualified within certain time, like Sharad Yadav, Mr. Sharad Yadav was disqualified within 3 months, these 90 would have come down to 60 only. So 90 seats is not correct. They won just above the majority. 60 plus only they won. And then he took all the people, TRS, they attracted. It is called, he gave a name Bangaru Telangana sake. For the sake of Golden Telangana, everybody joined with TRS and they work for the development of TRS. That's
Right.
what government say.
Right.
So,
you know, if you look at K. Chandrasekhar Rao, KV Prasad, you know, he seems to be sending out this message that, you know, the Mahakutami is going to self-implode. You know, issues are going to crop up that the Mahakutami cannot, you know, digest. Is that something that you foresee? Is that something that is possible?
See, as a person in the party in power and which is going to defend its citadel, I'm sure he would like to discredit the opposition to the extent possible, because that's one very good strategy any party in power would like to adopt. Because here he is trying to pitch his government and is working for the last 4.5 years against a party which was out of power, which had its own past. So that's one thing. And then this is an alliance of parties. So obviously there are troubles. There will be troubles, but the fact here remains is one thing which is most significant that people of Andhra and Telangana have watched very carefully is that the TDP joined hands with Congress party. So that's a very, very significant shift in Andhra politics, or Telugu-speaking politics, if I may say so, Andhra and Telangana together.
Yes.
Of course, there is an issue with TDP per se, because TDP is largely in Hyderabad or Greater Hyderabad areas where they have a fairly demonstrable presence. Rest of it would perceive TDP to be anti-Telangana, because if you remember in the run-up to the division of the state, Chandrababu Naidu kept on for United Andhra, Ek Andhra. He kept on campaigning for that. Even now he talks about, he said, I'm not against Telangana, but he was for United Andhra. So that being the plank, people of Telangana and other parts would naturally not be very comfortable with TDP and its policies.
Right.
But now the fact is, Telangana is a separate state. So, you know, it's a question of sentiments that, and I'm sure seasoned politicians, both in Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao and the Congress and Mr. Naidu, would factor this out as they go into the campaign mode.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, talking about the campaign mode, you know, let's look back at the last 4.5 years, Shravan Kumar. What is it that has worked in favor of the government, you think?
see, one good thing is, never in the history of Telangana, there were several schemes were launched by Mr. KCR. His attitude was like, sacrifice was the attitude, his line of thinking in the movement. Later, development is his motto, and he want to make it as a model state for state in the India. So he launched so many schemes like Kalyana Lakshmi. Every bride will get certain amount, 1 lakh, like that. And he used to give each section of the society. Farmers will get something, pensioners, elder people will get something. So if you see, everybody in the society will get their share. And there are major projects, like every house they'll get a tap at your doorstep. That is the free water supply. And then there are major irrigation projects. So he wants to show some difference between the earlier Andhra and present regime. So that is his USP. So he wants to show change has come. If you want further change, you vote for me. His major master stroke is farmers 8,000 per acre. He is giving for the farmers. Even before, after announcing the elections also, farmers received 4,000. It's an installment. Second installment, farmers received 4,000 per acre. It is like 50 lakhs voters. They got 4,000 per acre. So like that, huge budget has been 44% of total budget has been spent for developmental and welfare, most of the welfare activities.
तो ऐसे में शेरन ये भी है कि क्या जो महागठबंधन है वो और जो केसीआर की अब तक की स्कीम्स हैं पड़ला किसका भारी है, किसका वेटेज ज़्यादा दिखता है मुद्दे के तौर पर और जो पब्लिक इस वक्त देख रही है?
नहीं, अभी कांग्रेस वाले भी 2 लाख रुपए हम फार्मर्स के लिए माफ़ी करेंगे. जो चंद्रशेखर राव कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं वो स्कीम सारा कंटिन्यू करेंगे, उससे बेहतर हम करेंगे. और एक प्रॉब्लम विथ केसीआर इज नॉट एक्सेसिबल टू इवन हिज ओन पार्टी. इवन मिनिस्टर्स कांट मीट हिम. Earlier he used to mingle with everybody, movement people like Kodanram. He was like number 2 in the movement, Kodanram. After becoming chief minister, he did not met him. He did not care him. And then people who used to like him, they totally antagonized. And people who worked against Telangana, people who worked against TRS, they were joined in the party. So that kind of antagonizing people, taking people who oppose Telangana, that is the against point for KCR. So and it is turning towards Congress. That is the interesting issue.
प्रसाद जी, दोनों अगर खेमों की बात करूं, क्या बड़ा एक चैलेंज सत्ताधारी दल के लिए है जो उसके लिए मुसीबत मैं कहूं हो सकता है वोटों के लिहाज से, और गठबंधन जो है दल उनके लिए क्या बड़ा एक चैलेंज है?
पहली बात, सत्ताधारी पार्टी के लिए हमेशा एक सवाल रहता ही है कि हम अपना टर्फ को कैसे डिफेंड करें. भाई आपने 4.5 सरकार चलाई, आप तुलना अपने काम की करेंगे, किसी और के साथ कर नहीं सकते, क्योंकि ये राज्य ठीक है. आप पुराने आंध्र के जो श्रावण ने भी संकेत दिया है, कुछ समस्याएं थी तेलंगाना में, पानी की समस्या थी, किल्लत थी पानी की, तो इन्होंने जल का आपूर्ति की मेहनत की, वहाँ पे पॉन्ड्स के कराए कि भाई चेक डैम बनाएं, पॉन्ड्स बनाएं ताकि पानी जल संरक्षण की योजना है. किसान को राइतु बंधु जो स्कीम चलाई, इस तरह की स्कीम्स उन्होंने काफ़ी, जिसे कहते हैं अगर एक कल्याणकारी सरकार का एक इन्होंने
एक फ्रेम
किया और उसके तहत चले भी, तो उनके लिए वो बहुत बड़ा प्लस पॉइंट है. सवाल यह है कि जो एक और बात जो कि चंद्रशेखर राव और उनके परिवार को लेके काफ़ी कुछ लोगों ने कहा भाई तेलंगाना के लोगों का विकास तो ठीक है लेकिन एक परिवार का के तक सीमित ना रहे ये बात. तो वो एक जिसे कहते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा है कम है ये आंकलन लगाना मुश्किल, लेकिन एक बातचीत का एक मुद्दा ज़रूर है. कांग्रेस के लिए समस्या है कि भाई आपने पिछले 70 साल में क्या किया, 50 साल में आपने राज्य किया है. टीडीपी के साथ भी वही है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे जो समस्या शुरू से रही कि जो तेलंगाना के जो प्रांत के लोग हैं उनको ये हमेशा रहा जी कोस्टल आंध्रा से लोग आए, इन्होंने सब फ़ायदा उठाया, हमारी जो समस्याएं थी वो सुलझी नहीं. चंद्रशेखर राव जी के साथ एक बहुत फायदा है कि 17% तो वहाँ ग्रोथ रेट था, तो उनके पास पैसा काफ़ी था कि वो कल्याणकारी योजनाओं पे खर्च हुए. तो वो एक जिसे कहते हैं कि इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन बहुत अच्छा है, तो उसी के तहत वो कई सारे स्कीम्स, कई सारे उस पर आगे बढ़ सके.
Right. Let's take a look now at a couple of graphics, as you know, as far as the vote percentage in 2014 is concerned. Let's have it on our screens. Well, there you have it, of course. So, vote percentage on our screens right now. Total seats 119. If you look at the vote share, it's on your screens right now. You know, TRS with the highest there, obviously at 34.56, and then followed by the INC 25.2, and of course the other parties there, all of them follow as well. Others there with the third significant number of 15. And there's the alliance in the House, of course, the vote share NDA at 22.2%, the INC plus at 26.1%, TRS 34.3 and others at 17.8. That was, of course, the figure as far as 2014 was concerned. All that could change come the elections in a few days.
और आप दोनों को बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे साथ इस चर्चा में जुड़ने के लिए।
एक सेकंड, एनडीए आप बताया, एनडीए में प्लस टीडीपी,
now
TDP is with Congress.
With the Congress, so that's a different ball game altogether. Absolutely.
और देखना होगा इस बार ये आंकड़ा कितना बदलता है, लेकिन जाते आते बात उत्सव और जश्न की अलग अलग तस्वीरों की। लोकतंत्र में अगर जश्न है तो प्रदर्शन भी होते हैं, और अगर आपको खुशी के इजहार का मौका मिलता है तो कई बार नाराजगी भी दर्ज कराते लोग दिखते हैं। कुल मिलाकर कहें तो ये सारे रंग लोकतंत्र के अपने रंग हैं, और चुनाव में खास तौर पर ये सब कुछ बहुत तीखा और बहुत ही देखने लायक होता है। चलते चलते कुछ ऐसे ही रंगों के साथ आपको छोड़ जाते हैं और दिखाते हैं कलर्स ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी। आज के इस खास कार्यक्रम में फिलहाल इतना ही। नमस्कार।